Hello, everybody. Welcome to the All-in-One Nerd Show. I am your host, Labruski. With me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Illuminati. Tyler, how are you?
Hello.
How are you?
I am great. I had a very productive Sunday, so
Awesome.
I'm ready to.
You mean Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday. Sorry. Yesterday was kind of like my Saturday because I only worked a half day, so that's why I'm all mixed up.
Sweet. What have you been reading, watching since last Saturday?
So reading, I've actually been reading tons of manga. I've had a little bit of a rejuvenation of sorts after posting my Vagabond overview and how well received it was. I've got, crazy comments of people saying like, you got me into manga, which is crazy because I'm so new to manga. So I was like, man, I need to read some more manga. So I read Downfall, and the Fully Cooley Omnibus. And now I'm going to be jumping into either 20th Century Boys or Goodnight Poon Poon. I don't know which one, but one of the two.
Sweet. So you're kind of on a bit of a manga binge, you could say.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Sweet.
I kind of blamed Downfall. I jumped into that thinking it was going to be good, and it blew me away more than I anticipated. So now I'm like,
what was it?
What was that?
What manga was it?
It's called Downfall.
Okay. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, it's I think it's Inyo Asano, I think. But anyway, the story is essentially about a manga artist that's like kind of peaking. He just finished his first manga series and he's getting a lot of attention. And he also is struggling with sex addiction and like lifestyle choices and kind of struggling on trying to find outlets and forms of attention that make him kind of feel worthy. And it goes back into like childhood trauma through relationships and things like that. So it was really personal and human, which I usually like when it comes to stories.
Okay, that sounds like something I'd enjoy. To be honest with you, it was called Downfall. I gotta write this down.
Yeah, Downfall, and it's a single volume. So
nice.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I may have to check that one out. That seems like a interesting manga. We got Kane here. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you, Kane. I hope you're doing well and feeling better. Kane was sick last weekend, I believe, and so I hope you're on the mend and you're doing better. Cool. So you've been reading a lot of manga. What you been watching? Anything besides the show we're going to talk about today?
I watched the show we talked about, and then I can't remember. Oh, I started some trash TV, which is always kind of
that's
good.
Always that's like a good almost like a palate cleanser. I feel like, like it's just like you can turn your brain off and just enjoy it and whatnot. So what trash TV show have you been watching?
Love Island. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I've heard of it, haven't seen it. I do love a good reality trashy TV show. Like, I think it was the summer after high school, I got into Jersey Shore for some reason, and it was great. I love that show. Me and my friend Nick always talk about it. So I do love those types of shows. I've heard so much buzz around Love Island, so I may have to check that one out.
Yeah, I feel like my wife like puts it on just because she kind of likes those shows, and I just hate on it so much, but then I get so invested. Like
you get invested in it. Yeah.
Then I'm chiming in and I'm like, oh man, that dude's so wrong for saying that. It's like, I thought you weren't listening.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Cool. Let's see. What have I been reading? I read Extremity. I finished that.
Ooh.
Maybe today. I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. But I finished that. Really enjoyed that. I'm doing a video coming out next week next Wednesday. So, and I filmed that already too. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I'm reading a novel about American history. So I'm enjoying that too. I'm about almost halfway through that. And that's it. I haven't started a new comic yet. I don't know what I want to read. I'm debating if I should read Birthright or wait till the second volume comes out and read it together and do a big review on it. So I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, so I need to start reading a new comic.
Last time we touched base, we talked about me finishing Do a Power Bomb, right?
I think so. I believe it might have been a couple shows ago, but yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
That's I talk about it in my video that's coming out. I'm debating on whether holding out for the deluxe, which hasn't even been announced yet, or just kind of biting the bullet and buying the trade. I think I'm just going to buy the trade because I do want to check that out. And if I like it, I can always just get the deluxe too when it comes out. It's not a.
I will say this: I read it and finished it, and oftentimes because my wife doesn't like read comics all that much, I will like retell her the story.
Yeah,
push her to tears, literally.
Really?
Yeah. So wow. It's a powerful one.
I feel like Daniel Warren Johnson. I've only read Murder Falcon and Now Extremity, I think, by him. Those are the only two I've read. But both books are just so emotional at times.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he does such a good job at pulling out emotions from the reader, which I feel like it can be a tough thing to do, in comics especially.
Yeah. And I also think like Murder Falcon, where it was emotional and it tackled a subject that affects a large majority of, the population, sadly.
Yeah.
I think Do a Power Bomb is a lot more relatable because if you have a mom, then like the emotion around that story is already inside of you. Like as long as, which obviously we've all have moms. So
I was gonna say, I think that's
so like as soon as you read it, like you're just invested and your heartstrings are being tugged on immediately. So I mean, I think you'll really like it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out for sure. Let's see. Kane says, I am doing better. Thank you to everyone who's given me well wishes. I totally appreciate you all. That is great to hear. I'm happy to hear that. We have Alex. Hope everyone is well. I hope you are doing well, Alex. Good to have you in the chat as always. We're going to be talking about the new Spider-Man show here in a second. So yeah. I wanted to ask you, and I feel like we haven't talked about it yet. Did you ever finish Creature Commandos yet?
Yes.
What did you think? And I feel like we haven't talked about it. I feel like we haven't talked about your final thoughts.
We have not. I definitely think it ended with a bang. I really, really enjoyed the bride and her decision and everything that, to avoid spoilers, that has to do with that. I thought it was really like impactful. And I also liked the cliffhanger at the end, leading into obviously a second season or something. So it had a rough start for me, but I think it stuck the landing.
Interesting. Yeah, I really enjoy that show through and through. I love all the characters too. Especially, I think the bride is my favorite, but I do like G.I. Robot a lot too still. But I really do love the bride. So I'm excited to see what they do next. I know it did get announced for a second season. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And it looks, without going into spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen the show, it does seem like some new creatures are being added to the roster. So that would be cool to see. So I'm excited for that. Cool. What else have I been watching? I watched Severance. Have you seen Severance? I don't think you have. I feel like we've talked about that too at one point.
I think you may have told me to watch it before on one of the shows.
So good. The second season started, I think, last week or the week before. And so I rewatched the entire first season again. I love it. and now the second season is coming out. So for anyone who has not watched Severance, I highly recommend it. It's on Apple TV. Such a good like drama, and it does have some funny elements. Ben Stiller produces it, I believe, and he directs a few episodes. It's not like a comedy at all, but it does, it has some comedic elements sprinkled in there. Such a good show. It's seriously.
Yeah, we definitely talked about, as soon as I opened my list, it was the first title at the top. So
yeah, we definitely talked about it. And then we got Invincible season 3 next week. I believe that's starting next week. So I'm excited to watch that. I think the first 3 episodes are coming out, and that'll be fun to see the next season. But let's dive into today's topic of the new Spider-Man show. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, I believe that's what it's called now.
Yep.
It was originally called Freshman Year, Spider-Man Freshman Year, but I guess they changed that. What are your initial thoughts of this show? Did you like it? Not so much. Where's your head at with it?
I think I'm about 50-50. I think I'm towing the line of enjoying it a little bit or not liking it a little bit. But
I'm right there with you for the most part. I would say I'm about 50-50 too.
What was your biggest issue? Let's see if we're eye to eye with that.
So a couple things. I thought overall it was just kind of forgettable, and it just, I don't know. I felt like it was missing something from both the story and also the animation style. I don't necessarily hate the animation style, right out. I think it has potential, but I think the way it is now, it was kind of bland. And that's, I feel like the entire show is just kind of bland,
Yep.
So like I said, I didn't hate the animation style. Like I've seen a lot of people kind of bashing it. I didn't necessarily hate it. I think it has potential, and I think they need to build off it. I do, however, think if they just stuck to like a 2D animated style, they really could have went all out with it. And like I said, I think the story is just kind of boring. I didn't really like the changes they made to Peter Parker's origin story. Not to say they couldn't have, I like the idea that they tried it something different. I don't think it necessarily worked. Yeah, I just don't think it worked. That particular part of the story. What about you? Like, what's the thing that you were not crazy about?
So it does seem we kind of see eye to eye on this. So my biggest issue, which I'm usually not a stickler on this, but the animation style, it really, really pulled me out of it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the colors felt really vibrant but bland at the same time, like very one note, like same palette all around.
Yeah.
And then I also think the fluidity of the movements, excluding fight scenes, because you can tell they really put their foot into the animation when it came to fight scenes and stuff. But just the movements when it came to two individuals talking and the way they talk with their hands, it was very, I don't know, robotic and kind of felt forced and a little too animated. It was like, it was like AI was told to, hey, make these two people talk the way normal humans do, and they just overdid it too much. That's the feel I got from it. So that was my first reservation with it. But as far as the origins, you hitting on that, I do agree with that. But I feel like, which I think you might have an issue with, this may be, which maybe they already announced, a multiverse story.
I haven't heard anything about it, so I'm not too sure.
Because it made me think that with the Doctor Strange portal, and then the spider coming from that portal. So, that makes me think a little bit like, is this one of the multiverses or what?
Right. It's, I think it is like one of the multiverses. And I feel like because it pulls from like Civil War and some of the MCU Spider-Man that we've seen, and it kind of I don't know. I feel like it relied a little too much on some aspects of the MCU Spider-Man. It felt a little jarring. It's like, why didn't they just do something entirely original, not necessarily tied to the MCU Spider-Man? You know, because it does look like Tom Holland, right? Peter Parker does. Then you have that scene that's ripped really out of from Civil War, just with Norman Osborn instead of Tony Stark. So it just felt a little weird. I just kind of wish they did something entirely different with it. So I don't know. I think it's just kind of unoriginal in a lot of ways. And it just, like I said, I think it felt bland. And I wish they took more chances with it. I also too when Doctor Strange showed up, I liked his design. You know, I liked like the mustache thing. I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. I didn't not like the monster he was fighting. It looked like it was some like Venom monster at least. I don't know. I thought that looked horrible.
Yeah.
There was a couple scenes that I did like though. I liked, and they were all in the second episode. I liked the fight scene with the fire guy. I thought that was pretty well done, and the quips and stuff back and forth. I was like, okay, I there's some potential here for sure. And then I also liked the reveal at the end of the second episode with Norman Osborn fighting out the Peter Parker Spider-Man. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I like that. But other than that, there's nothing that I like too much about it. I thought, I don't know. I thought it was just kind of boring. Let's see. Let me look at some of the notes. I did, however, okay, here's another thing I did like. I kind of like the comic book transitions they did. I thought that was kind of cool. And the intro song was horrible. That was awful.
I actually kind of liked it.
Oh, I thought it was awful. I like the animation of the intro, or the whatever, but the actual like intro theme song, horrible. I was like, this is god awful. I hate it. So yeah, I wish they did something different with that because I really just thought that was terrible. And
on the topic of the intro, one of the things, which is probably the way I would describe the show, is like there was little parts that were done really, really well that I liked, but on the topic of the intro was every single title screen. I don't know if you noticed, but it was a different Spider-Man cover being represented. So,
oh, really?
The first episode was Amazing Fantasy 15 with him and Harry, and then you had a Brand New Day on episode 2 was the title screen, and I thought that was so unique and so interesting that they didn't stick to a specific title screen for every episode.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that, but that is interesting. Yeah, I like that. I don't know. Other than that, I thought the intro was okay, but the theme song really killed it for me. I really hated that. Yeah, and I just don't like the cell shading way the show looks overall. In the second episode too, I did notice like it looked dim and like it looked like they just turned down the brightness in some of the shots. And I'm like, is there something wrong with my TV or like what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I think it's just a show. So I don't know. I thought it was weird, and it felt very much, and maybe didn't get this vibe. It felt like it was very much more so for like younger kids, which I guess, is okay,
Yeah.
like it, whatever. But I did not get much enjoyment as a Spider-Man fan watching it. So I think the show fails on that aspect. So I don't know.
Yeah, I did like, and I thought it was a pretty fresh take to the friendly neighborhood years of Spider-Man. Like one of the things that I initially, looking at the design of Spider-Man, didn't exactly love was the oxygen tank on his back for his web shooters.
Yeah.
But seeing it in action, I was like, I mean, that was kind of cool, to see the science behind the actual devices that he built. So I ended up kind of liking that. I liked the early Spider suit, how it pays homage to Scarlet Spider with the hoodie and everything like that. So, I mean, again, there was just little nuggets that I really, really liked, but there was a lot that I didn't love, which is why I'm just right there on the line. You know, I just don't know
Yeah.
exactly how to feel.
I agree with you there. I think I do like the suit. I think the suit was pretty cool. And I like what you said. I like how it kind of shows the science behind the web shooters, you know, with the oxygen tank or whatever it was. I thought that was kind of neat and cool. Um, and I don't know if this is a show that I will continue watching. I think I don't think I'll watch it unless like I'll wait and see if it's like if there's like great reviews and whatnot, and if people are like, "This show's amazing," all of a sudden, I guess then I'll watch it. Um, but like, I don't have any desire to continue watching this show, to be honest with you. What
Fair.
about you? Are you gonna watch it?
I think um I don't know. I've just been into comics for so long that I feel like usually I'm like, you know, 3 episodes, 4 episodes, and if it doesn't hook me, I'm out. You know, that's usually my
Sure.
rule of thumb. But with superhero shows, I kind of like give it a whole season to kind of see if it's good, or if it reaches a climax, or if it hooks me for season two. So
Sure.
I don't know. I think I'll probably continue. I don't know if I'll see it to the end, but I'll at least keep watching for now.
Okay. I think you're much more forgiving in some regards.
Yeah,
I think
probably.
overall to superhero properties than I am.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I like I said, unless like the first season is out and people are like, it actually gets really good, then maybe I'll watch it. But as it stands right now, I don't think I'll continue to watch it. Um, let's see. What else do I have on here? Um, I don't know. I thought some of the dialogue was a little cheesy at times too. I
Yeah.
didn't really like the dialogue. And I don't know. I feel like they shoulda, and maybe they will, right? I mean, only 2 episodes are out, so I don't know. Um, I don't know if I love, like, the Osborne internship, and this is kinda, like, just a personal thing, or personal taste, whatever. I really wish it just focused on Peter Parker in high school more so, and, like, 'cause it feels like the internship's gonna be a big thing, and that takes Parker out of, high school, you know? And it doesn't seem like there's a big cast of characters either so far,
Mhm.
in, you know, in the high school and whatnot, and his friends, and I don't know. So I wish they would have just stuck more to the high school and maybe even made it more like Ultimate Spider-Man in that respect. So I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I do think the internship does feel a little Tony Starky, and it does feel a
Yeah,
little Otto Octavius from Spider-Man PS4. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they are kind of keeping it really pigeonholed in a specific storyline. So it would have been nice to have something just a little bit more fresh, where it was focused on school, school friends, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't know. I mean, I do like the idea behind him learning more about science, because I mean that's Spider-Man's thing. But
sure.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I'd have to digest that more, I guess.
Yeah, I guess the biggest thing for me with this show is it just feels bland. It feels like I was watching it and I was like eating a piece of white bread with nothing on it, you know, like there's nothing too original about it. They do try to take some risks, feel like with the character designs and whatnot, but a lot of that just falls short for me, at least right now. I mean, there are, like I said, you know, there are 8 other episodes or, you know, whatever still to come. So we'll see what they do. But from what I've seen with the promotions and whatnot, The other character designs don't necessarily grip me. So it just feels like a bland, uninspired show. And yeah, I did not really like it too much. I don't think it's offensive, right, or anything like that, or
No.
like it's not. I don't know. Like if you're a Spider-Man fan, if you're like a diehard Spider-Man fan, I think you will probably like it to some degree. Um, and I would say I'm more of a Spider-Man fan than like any other Marvel character. Um, so I don't know. It was not. I don't think I'm at the target audience either.
That's what I was gonna
So
say. I think you hit the nail on the head with like this is obviously for younger kids, I mean, that's just the truth
yeah,
behind it. And your early 20s, I'm in my 30s, maybe we're not supposed to enjoy it as much.
right.
Um, but some of the things I really did enjoy was like the universe building aspects. So like for example, when it came to some of the characters, so like Nico, for example, is Sister Grimm in the Marvel comics. So she's from the Runaways. She's a superhero,
Sure.
so
Okay.
that's a whole story element. You got Amadeus Cho, who became the Hulk at one point. You
Oh,
got
right. Okay.
Pearl, who becomes Wave. She's an Atlantean, on Namor's side of things. So you have a lot of building blocks of other avenues and other characters they can explore if they decided to do so. But um, obviously, we're not at that point. I mean, it's super early days, but
Right.
that's why I think I'm so nitpicky on the animation because it's like, is that going to get better, or is this the final product type of
Right.
thing? Um, which I don't know. I mean, I feel like we've reached the pinnacle of animation with Invincible, X-Men 97, just to name a few. So it's like, man, why aren't we just like rinse and repeating that? Like that is just, and maybe to stay away from, the same aesthetics overall for every cartoon. I don't know, but just stick to those animation styles. Those are so good.
Yeah. It's kind of like why reinvent the wheel, right?
Yeah.
And here I
Yeah.
think it applies for sure. I would say if I had to put money on it, I can't imagine the animation style will get better over time, like later seasons.
Yeah.
Like for example, like What If, I don't really like that animation style, and they've really stuck to that. And I feel like it's a similar animation style to this show too.
Hmm.
So I think that's just what they're doing now, and I think it doesn't look good. It looks bland. It's lazy. I don't know. It's like you got to try to do something else here. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like this show is a safer. It's a safe show in a lot of respect, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, if I was a kid and 10 or something, I'm sure I would eat this up. I'm sure I'd love it. So like I said, I mean, or we're not the target audience. Um,
Yeah.
but I
So
mean, there are plenty of shows out there that do kind of walk that line of, kid show, and then also, an older audience can appreciate it. Um, and I don't think this is one of those shows, unfortunately.
yeah, that's what I was going to say as far as a critique as that of that way of thinking is, I mean, there's tons of cartoons I love. I mean, I'm 30, but I'm a kid at heart, and I watch anime, I watch cartoons. So I
Yeah,
mean, while I'm not the target audience, like I still kind of have the brain of the target audience.
sure.
Overall, I mean, but I think again, you hit the nail on the head where it's like there's nothing offensive about it. Like this
Yeah,
is not a
no, no.
show that I hated so much. I'm jumping on Reddit threads or something and bashing all the creators. Like there was good there and there was bad. It's just I don't know if it was for me per se, but there was still
Sure.
some positives to it. So I still think it's worth watching. Maybe it's someone watching this cup of tea and they'll enjoy it. But I think me and you are kind of in cahoots where maybe, even though we're 50-50, maybe we lean a little towards the didn't like it so much side of things.
Yeah, no, I definitely was not crazy about it, clearly. So I don't know. I don't even know what else there is to say about this show either.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's not a deep well.
No.
I don't know. I don't really plan on, like I said, I don't really plan on continue watching it. If you do, I would be curious to know if it does get better, or what your thoughts are towards the end of the season. But yeah, I mean, I will say I don't think the voice acting was bad.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like, it wasn't spectacular, no pun intended. But it just wasn't amazing, pun intended.
Yeah, that's where I was at with the voice acting too, because there were some points where the voice actor of Spider-Man, which I did look up his name, but I can't remember.
Yeah,
But he kind of sounded like Tom Holland.
a little bit.
Like,
Yeah,
there was seriously points where I was like, is that Tom Holland? Because it sounded identical to him, but obviously it's not. And I mean, I don't know. I guess my biggest curiosity when it comes to this show is just like, where do we go?
right.
Like, obviously we're going into a whole nother direction with Spider-Man when it comes to live action, and the whole multiverse saga that we're diving into, and shows and movies. So where's this fit in? Is this kind of a one-off? Is this the animated side of things, like X-Men, or eventually the Spider-Man animated series? Where exactly are we supposed to place this in? I don't know, I guess the bigger picture of Marvel, or is it completely outside of that? I mean, I
Right.
have no clue. I haven't heard anything. So, I mean, that's my biggest thought process behind it.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I guess it will be interesting to see where this show goes. See if it gets renewed for a second season too. I think so far the reactions from fans have been kind of mixed, all in
Mhm.
all. So it will be interesting to see if it does continue, and what that might have on Marvel's animation universe, whatever they're doing, with other shows now. Maybe this is a show where it is much more for a younger audience, and then they do a revival show of the Spider-Man animated show from the 90s, where that's more geared towards older fans. So that maybe it could I don't know, maybe that will balance out nicely, but I don't know.
So, I guess the final thoughts, or as far as like what we think overall, 2 episodes. So this isn't a concrete rating, but what is overall rating as far as the show goes?
I would say, as of now, I would probably give it like a 4 out of 10, I think.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, I mean, 5 being average, I would say it's a little below average for shows, animated shows, I guess. What about
Hmm.
you?
I don't know. I'm towing the line of like a 5 or 6, and I think I'm leaning more towards a 5, but I could be convinced to be a 5.5. But
I'm not gonna convince you.
well, no. I mean, I think like you said again, I mean, I think you're just hitting the nail on the head consistently. I think
Yeah,
um I am a little more forgiving when it comes to this stuff. I mean,
yeah,
this is like, I don't know, I'm just crazy about superheroes. So, in the sense of my optics and my lens, watching just a Spider-Man show in general, it's like you're already starting at like a 5.
sure.
So I mean, I would probably just nail it at a 5. Um,
For now, I mean, it's subject to change. I think
yeah,
both of our ratings can change, with the first season if we continue to watch it.
which
Yeah,
you won't
I
be.
I don't think I will be, unless, a few weeks from now you convince me to. That maybe. Yeah, it's probably gonna stay around a 4 out of 10, I'd say. Yeah.
Okay, so what would be harder to get you to come back to, Skeleton Crew or Spider-Man?
Ooh. Well, I'm I don't know because I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in general. I used to be, and now I'm just like over it, a little fatigue, and same thing with Marvel, I guess too. But I'm a much bigger Spider-Man fan than Star Wars fan. So I think my curiosity would get the best of me, and I would probably watch this show over Skeleton Crew. I will say, I Skeleton Crew probably is the better show overall. But like I said, I my curiosity would get the best of me when it comes to this. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. We do have some comments from Kane. Animation companies will put a lot of their animation budget into the fight scenes because those are the attention grabbers. They will then take shortcuts elsewhere. Invincible actually had an episode dedicated to that discussion. I do remember that. Yeah, when Mark visited the Comic-Con and spoke to his favorite creator. I do remember that. Yeah. So that's interesting. The fight scene with the fire dude, I don't know if he had a name or whatnot, or I don't know. That was pretty good. I think I said that was one of my favorite scenes out of the 2 episodes. I did like the kind of the quips back and forth, and I thought the fight scene was done well overall. How do you say this name? Promiscuous
Time Traveler.
Time Traveler. Invincible was dope. It was dope. And the second, season 3 is coming out next week.
I mean, I think we both would agree at this point, Invincible has the crown of like comic book animation show, right? Or would you put Creature Commandos over that?
That's tough. I don't know. I would probably say Invincible still, but Creature Commandos is probably a close second for sure. Yeah, I would probably say Invincible is the king of superhero animation as of now, for sure.
So for relating to our rating purposes, that kind of rhymed. IMDb gave a 6.4 out of 10.
Okay.
We got Common Sense Media, which I don't even know what that is, but 4.0 out of 5. And IGN a 8 out of 10.
I think too it debuted on Rotten Tomatoes at like 97 or something, like super high. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, at least
No, me either.
I think a lot of it's bogus. I think any review besides ours, of course, is kind of bogus. We really give the honest reaction. No politics involved with our reviews. So I don't know. I think 4, 5 out of 10. I think that's where it sits for me right now. And it sounds like for you similar too. So yeah.
Yeah, I would say some of those ratings are a little facetious, to say the least. I mean, an 8 out of 10. I mean, that's intense. 4 out of 5.
That's like up there with like Invincible. Like those are like Invincible ratings. Probably Invincible is even rated a little higher, but it's not far off. And excuse me. This is no Invincible, to say the least.
I would like to. I wish the chat was lighting up. I'd love to hear everybody else's opinions on it, but I mean, I don't want to feel like I'm knocking it too hard because there was some enjoyable elements, but I don't know. I think the animation really got me out of it the way the intro song got you out of it.
Well, I think if the animation was better, I would be a lot more forgiving of the show, for sure. because it would be better to look at, you know. And
Yeah.
here it's not that nice to look at it, in my opinion. So yeah, the animation was more like creative and out there. I think it would have worked a lot better. I think what they went with was definitely the safe choice. And
Yeah.
it's just not good.
Yeah.
And maybe no one's really commenting because nobody really watched it too. That could be.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't emphasize enough too, like what I said earlier, like I really am hardcore forgiving. Like when you were saying the What If show, how you didn't like that animation, like I liked that animation. I like
Okay.
the Clone Wars animation, Star Wars Clone Wars. I had no issues with X-Men 97, which some people did. So I'm very forgiving when it comes to animation styles, but this was really, really, really hard. And I usually like cell shaded stuff. Like I think I've talked about on the show before, um, Borderlands, the video game. Like I love that cell shaded look.
Yeah, that works well
Um,
there.
yeah, and Ninja Turtles,
The
Mutant
movie,
Mayhem. I loved that. Loved
Mutant
that.
Mayhem. Yeah, I thought it was good there too.
Yeah, but this just didn't work for me, I guess.
Did not work. I would agree. Okay, here's some of the comments here. Trying to figure out what show we are talking about. We are talking about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, the new Disney Plus Spider-Man show. That is what we're talking about currently. A Fifth of Jack. Hope you're doing well, Adam. I think it's different and need more episodes before I grade it. It's greenlit for 3 seasons, so either way, it's here for the long haul. That's crazy. I did not know that. That has
That's
been
news to
greenlit.
me. Whoa.
Wow. Okay. I will say I do kind of wish they stuck with the name of freshman year.
Yeah.
I think that would have been cool. And you could have like done each season and, sophomore, junior, senior year, and then after 4 seasons, if the show was still going strong, you can go into college. And I think that would have just made for a more interesting show, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
3 out of 10.
Oof.
Wow. That's harsh, but that's okay. What did you not like about it, Time Traveler? I'm sorry, I don't know how to say the first part. What is that? Promiscuous?
Promiscuous.
I'm gonna stop talking. You're the main host of the show. I'm just gonna mute myself. Oh my goodness. Promiscuous Time Traveler. Okay, there we go. Caribbean Corbin?
Yeah.
Crib.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I have a cousin named Corbin and he spells his name differently. So I guess that's why it's throwing me off. Corbin, hideout. Hey guys, glad to catch the stream. Hope you're doing well, Corbin. I read the comic but didn't watch the show. Not really my speed. That's fair. That's fair. What comic in particular did you read? I'd be curious to know. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's much else to say about this show right now. I think we've kind of said all we have to say. Yeah, I don't know. We can talk a little bit about Spider-Man comics. I don't think we've done that on the show yet. I could be wrong though.
I don't think we did either, but I mean,
Maybe touched upon it. So I guess tell me, Tyler, what is your what was your first Spider-Man comic that you remember really loving and reading? If you remember, if you have one.
my favorite comic book or Spider-Man comic book that I remember reading was J. Michael Straczynski's run. More specifically, the second half. Even more specifically, the Back in Black storyline, which took place post Civil War. Huge shakeup in the Marvel universe when it came to Spider-Man. Some dark things happen to Peter Parker's loved ones, and he puts on the black costume again and goes Batman, pretty much. Becomes a full-fledged vigilante that's hunting down criminals in anger, and absolutely phenomenal story there. Still my favorite run, still to this day. Even over Ultimate Spider-Man, which is another one I think even you would recommend.
Yeah.
Specifically for new readers.
Yeah, for sure.
or even veteran readers. I mean, there's just so much good in that title.
I agree with Ultimate Spider-Man. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess the most recent I would probably recommend would be Dan Slott. He had a very long tenure on Spider-Man. But that's going to be the run where you'll have Spider-Verse, Spider-Geddon,
Spider
Superior
Island.
Spider-Man. But then after that, everything kind of goes downhill, if I'm being honest. I mean, it's
Superior
still,
Spider-Man. Did you say that?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't catch it. And I think a lot of people think that's like his, best Spider-Man work. Probably
Yeah.
best work in general. Maybe the Silver Surfer. Okay, so I've read all three. Let me see, yeah, 3 Ultimate Spider-Man Omnis. The first 3, really enjoyed all 3. I want to get the 4th one, and then I think they're coming out with a 5th, and then you got Death of, and then you got the Miles Morales stuff too. I want to get all those. I do like the Ultimate Universe Spider-Man a lot. The JMS Spider-Man Omni, I believe, is out of print, but a mall near me there's a comic book store and they had one. I don't think they have it anymore. And I've read it online a little bit and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. So I was like, I do want to get the first one, but I haven't gotten that yet. If at this point, I think I'll just have to wait for the reprint, which I'm okay with. And who did is it Big Time?
Yeah.
Who did that?
That's Dan Slott.
Was that Dan Slott? I read some of that too, I believe, and I really enjoyed that. Which I think there either is an Omni out of that now, or there is one on the way. I can't remember.
I think it was announced. It's definitely not out now, but I think it was announced.
There was an Omni a new Spider-Man Omni that just came out. I don't know if it just came out.
Brand New Day.
Brand New Day. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Is that JMS or Dan Slott?
That is a think tank of creators. So you have Dan Slott, Mark Waid, and then as far as artists go, you have Steve McNiven, John Romita Jr. They're all coming together and telling a multitude of stories. But Brand New Day is really, really, really solid too. That's where you're going to see Anti-Venom. It's going to have one of my favorite Spider-Man stories ever, which is a Shocker story. It's a 2-issue. It's a two-parter, but it's phenomenal. Shows just how human Spider-Man is and why he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So really, really good story there. But yeah, Brand New Day is a good jumping on point also. That's a post J. Michael Straczynski One More Day, and then they revamped it with Brand New Day.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, so maybe I'll have to get that Omni. I do want to get the Chip Zdarsky Spider-Man Omni too. Yeah. I have read Life Story. I really enjoy that trade. So I might get that Omni at some point. Both Omnis, really. I have the Superior Spider-Man Omni. I read that not too long ago, a few months ago, maybe. I think we were doing the show when I was reading, I believe, and I enjoyed that. I thought that was great. So I do need to read more Spider-Man, I think, overall.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at some comments here. Corbin Hideout, they made a Your Friendly Neighborhood comic. I just got the first issue. Okay, I'm trying to remember who did that. I can't remember who the author was on that. I know what you're talking about, though. Was it Zeb Wells? No, I don't think it was. Anyhow, I don't think that comic is I don't think this shows a direct adaptation of that comic. As far as
so there was a prequel comic book.
Oh, really?
Written by Christos Gage and art by Eric Gasper.
A prequel to this show?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I was not aware of that. Okay, good to know. Fifth Jack Gaming, I'm happy it's not just all in Spider-Man. LOL, I think that's because the ongoing Spider comics isn't great unless it's Ultimate Spider-Man. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's definitely Tom Holland inspired though. This Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Aunt May doesn't look like Marissa Tomei, I don't think at
no,
all though. She is younger though. Um, Promiscuous Time Traveler. Nothing new. I'm just adjusting to the animation style. Hard to grade so early, but I'm very turned off by the Leica budget. Yeah, I think a lot of people are kind of in the same boat as you, to be honest with you. Favorite Spider-Man series was Spider-Man Spider Shadow by Chip Zdarsky. I have heard that's good too, and I believe that's collected in the Omni
it is.
with
Yep.
Chip Zdarsky. So I really should try to get that before it's out of print.
Yeah, the two Spider-Man omnis that I recommend if you don't want to hunt down like, it seems like most Spider-Man omnis are like 4 volumes long, like it's so crazy. But Chip Zdarsky's is like a one-off creator-centric omnibus, really good stuff in there. It has portions of his, was it Amazing or Spectacular? I don't remember, but he was on a Spider-Man title, and then Life Story, and then Spider Shadow, and then the Joe Kelly omnibus that's coming out or already released is also a one-off omnibus that has some Joe Kelly Spider-Man issues. Then it has the non-stop Spider-Man and its sequel, which is like Fearsome Spider-Man or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, both those omnis are great if you want just a one-off Spider-Man omni to kind of get the gist.
Good to know. Cool. The Fifth Jack, Brand New Day was the newest Omni that just came out. Yes, correct. Spidey is one of those core characters from my collection. Yes, I guess mine too. I mean, I feel like out of the Omnis, it's Spider-Man and Batman, the ones I own the most.
Yeah.
Kane, the Chip Spider-Man Omni is really good. I do recommend reading Amazing Spider-Man Family Business because that comic introduces Peter's sister, who plays a semi-main role in Chip's run. Really,
Good recommendation.
I did not know Peter had a sister.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, nice.
And Family Business is really good too. I think there's a hardcover out there, maybe an OHC. I don't know.
Is Kingpin the main villain in that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I remember. I know of that one. I don't own any Spider-Man yet. Okay, let me ask you, Alex, what will be your first Spider-Man Omni or purchase, I guess? Only Spider-Man characters like Venom and Black Cat. I do have the Black Cat omnibus by Jed MacKay. Did you read that? Have you read that, Ron?
I have not read that, but OmniDog's been really hammering home reading that. So
that's why I got it,
should.
because he was going on and on about it.
Yeah.
And I think I did read maybe the first issue digitally, and I was like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. And I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it's as good. I was not as impressed as OmniDog was though by it.
I know, wasn't it his read of last year? I think
so. Yeah,
yeah.
It was. Yeah, it would have been. I think it was 2023. It was his read. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It's not that great, but if it's fun, it's a really fun comic, I will say. Alex Black Cat by Jed MacKay Omni. I haven't read it, but yeah, I guess maybe watch some other reviews on it. If you're just going off OmniDog's word, I guess I would say maybe watch some other reviews or read some other reviews or just read it digitally and see if it's something you'd really enjoy. Like I said, is a fun read overall. I don't really plan on rereading it. So Kane, if you want to buy mine, we can negotiate. And yes, Amazing Spider-Man Family Business is really good. Okay, maybe I'll have to check that one out. You said it's collected now in like a deluxe or something?
I think it's an OHC, but maybe a standard. But I think, which Kane can correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm just pulling from the dome. But I think it's
Mhm.
like Dustin Wynn on art or something like that. Like the art is phenomenal, but it does have a hardcover out there. Yes.
Cool. I'll have to yeah, maybe I'll try it digitally first. I feel like I think I said this too. That I think with superhero comics from now on, I'm probably just going to stick to digitally unless I absolutely love it, and then I'll buy the physical edition. Just because I want to collect more indie stuff.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
really
fair.
love reading. Um, I'm with Kane. Family Business was phenomenal. Awesome. Glad you enjoyed that. I'm interested in getting Eric Larson Spider-Man but wouldn't it be for a while? Interesting. Okay. Is there an Omni out for Eric Larson Spider-Man?
Yes.
No, I didn't know that. I'm holding off on buying comics right now because I have a backlog. That's fair. Yeah, I get that completely. I also am working on my backlog too, which actually I'm almost done with, which is nice. Fifth Jack Gaming really loves that Black Cat Omni. Is amazing book for the character. Spidey isn't a focus in the book. No, I think he probably shows up. I can't remember. I imagine he does during one issue, but like I said, I can't 100% remember. Yeah. Also, Fifth Jack Gaming. Are you able to play Rivals after and Illuminati? Are you able to play Rivals? Because
I mean, I'm more than likely down. The only
cool.
I have my wife's friend's birthday that I have to go to. Don't get me
Tonight.
started. Yeah.
Oh gosh, good luck with that. Yeah, I'll probably hop on, and this is totally nothing to do with the show. I will probably hop on at some point tonight after the show.
I
So I'll shoot
did
you
the
a text.
playback on your Marvel Rivals stream. I thought you were doing pretty good.
I was at one point, and I played Sense a few times, and I'm not as good as I was when I was streaming it. I don't know. I've been maining Black Widow, which I think's she's a lot of fun to play. I like being like a sniper, and I can like hang back and just try to be more
Yeah.
precise with my shots. Instead of like a brawler who's just going in there like Wolverine or whoever. Um, so yeah, I've been playing Black Widow. I do like playing Hawkeye too. I think he was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So for the Jack, depends on what time I'm gonna go get dinner with the family, but that's my game plan. Yeah, I'll shoot you a text when I get on. I feel like it's so much later than it is for some reason too.
Yeah.
Anyhow, let's see. Oh, art by Gabriel. Which one is it?
Thank you, Kane.
Del Otto and Werther Del
Deladera.
Deladera. Okay. I'm really not good with names. Though I don't love Slott's She-Hulk when Spider-Man was in an issue, it was always great. Okay, cool. Backlog. No, you're good. I understood what you were trying to say. Sue and Rita are my face for sure. Interesting. I did try to play as Reed Richards at one point, and I don't know. I was not doing well. So I was like, I think I'm gonna
He's
not
tough.
play.
I tried to
Yeah.
play him, and I am like a bruiser. Like I'm way more in the fray. You know.
You're like
And
a tank.
yes,
You like playing
yeah, I
like
do
tank.
main
Okay.
tank, and Reed is a tank, but he takes some skill. Which when you look at his difficulty, I think he's like a 1 star or something. And I'm like, man, I just
Hmm.
suck.
I think he's a tough character to play.
Yeah,
I think he is a. I don't think he's a tank though. I think he's a
DPS.
DPS.
Yeah,
What does that stand for?
damage per second.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So he's a DPS. I did try to play as Venom at one point. I was doing pretty good with Venom.
Yeah,
But I just find playing as like Black Widow a little more fun. And like when I do get a kill, I'm like, I'm so freaking good at this game. I just snipe that person. I'm so good. I don't know. I've been playing Squirrel Girl. I did catch some of your streams of Fifth of Jack and did see you were playing Squirrel Girl. He's pretty good at the game. I was watching some of his streams. He's pretty good. Haven't been doing bad, but haven't found my go-to character yet. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Still trying to figure out who my go-to character is, whether it's going to be Black Widow or someone else. I really enjoy playing Reed. He's a great team character. Yeah, I guess I'm a little selfish when it comes to being part of the team. You know, I just try to go for kills. I will say though, it does annoy me like when the objective is just like standing in the circle or just like standing where their vehicle is and moving it. Like nobody's doing that. So I will do that. But with Black Widow, it's kind of hard because he gets rushed and she's not good with close up, really. So
Yeah, I think like when it comes to Black Widow and Hawkeye and even like Moon Knight in some regard, like you're just aiming at healers. Like you just need to find Jeff the Shark or Sue or Luna Snow and just pop them in the head and keep it moving. Like that's your main role.
For sure. Talking about what we're reading. Kane is going to read the new Spider-Gwen run, Peter David's Symbiote Spider-Man 2099, Noctera Volume 1 and 2. Kane, let me know how that is. I believe that's by Scott Snyder. I actually remember I owned the first issue of that. I was working at a comic store when that came out. And I was like, that seems cool. So I bought it. Also, Joe the Barbarian. I want to read that by Grant Morrison, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that just got like a deluxe or something or a reprint. I can't remember.
It's a soft cover. I think it's like a
soft
compendium.
Cover? What was that? A compendium?
Yeah, I think it was a compendium, but it may just be a complete collection or something like that.
Okay. I do want to check that one out, though. The Magic Order Volume 1 and 2. Weren't you talking about that series? If I'm not mistaken.
That's getting a library edition. I think it released this Tuesday.
Yeah. Already released, or is it coming out this Tuesday? Okay.
It already released. Like, I'm sorry, last Tuesday, I guess.
Last Tuesday. Yeah. I have heard good things about that. It's by Mark Millar. Miller, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'll buy that. Check it out. I'll probably read it digitally first because, before I buy like the library edition. But did you buy that? I can't remember if you said.
Yeah, I'm buying all those library editions because I mean the price point on those for the size of book and how many issues you get. I mean, it's such a steal. When it comes to formats, the Dark Horse Library Edition or the Rick Remender Deluxe Edition, like those are like you're getting an absolute edition for a fraction of the price.
I think they're bigger than absolute. At least the library editions by Dark Horse, I believe.
I think the library Dark Horse are like an inch taller. Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Black Hammer ones on this side, and yeah, those things are huge. And so are they doing like all of Mark Millar's like stuff in Dark Horse Library Edition size?
Yep.
All right, that'll be cool. Interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll get like Kick-Ass. I like Kick-Ass.
Yeah, that needs to come out ASAP. That's probably, I don't know, that might be my favorite of his independent works. Like that title's so good. Like I flipped through it the other day. Specifically Kick-Ass 1, and I mean it is just really, really underrated. And I know it's gotten movies, so people are always like, oh, it's not a hidden gem, it has a movie, but nobody's talking about it, and it really is really, really good.
It is. That I think that's my favorite work he's done too. The first one too. I know he had like 3 sequels or 4 now, I think. That focuses more on Hit Girl. But the first trade is just so good. I love that book.
Yeah.
A Fifth of Jack, you guys / gals have a good night. You as well, A Fifth of Jack. I will shoot you a message later tonight when I do plan on playing Rivals. But yeah, get a hold of me later. I will do that. About to go for dinner. I do want to get the Magic Order book. Awesome. If you do get it, let me know what your thoughts are. Cool. I don't know I don't know. Do we have any other Spider-Man comics we want to talk about? I feel like we've touched on some of the main ones.
Yeah, honestly, the only other one I would talk about is Miles. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Brian Michael Bendis's Miles Morales run gets tons of credit, and of course, he's the creator of the character, so he should get tons of credit. But I personally think the peak is Saladin Ahmed's run. I think that is the run
Okay.
where you're going to have Miles really become his own character and pull away from like the Peter Parker tropes and get his own cast of characters and in the 616 universe, obviously,
Right.
since he got brought over after Secret Wars. But yeah, Saladin Ahmed, nobody talks about that run, but that is much better than Brian Michael Bendis's, if you ask me personally. But I think everybody should read it.
Okay. There's an Omni out of that, is that right?
There is an Omni out, but I don't know. I would assume there's trades still out there, but the Omni's still out there. Yeah.
Cool.
And what's cool too is it leads directly into Cody Ziegler's run, which is going on right now. So they almost play off each other. And then Cody Ziegler is really cool because he's actually a comic book nerd. Like he read comic books his whole life before he wrote them. So, whenever you hear those stories, you're like, hell yeah, brother, get in there, so
Absolutely. I love that.
yeah.
Corbin Hideout, what Omni is Ultimate Fallout in? I'm sure maybe you could answer that. I am clueless when it comes to that.
So the Miles Morales portions of Ultimate Fallout are in the Miles Morales Omni Volume 1, but if you want the entirety of Ultimate Fallout, that's in Ultimate Universe by Jonathan Hickman Omnibus. I think that's the only place where you can get its entirety. So that's what you have to pick up. And it's probably pretty easy to find. I don't think people are exactly clamoring for it. So you can probably find it for a pretty good price if you want it.
Cool. All right. All right, cool. Yeah, I guess we've been going for over an hour now. We don't have anything else to add about the Spider-Man show other than what I've said. It was kind of bland.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's just not much to talk about with it when it comes to that, I feel like.
Yeah. I think my final thoughts would be watch the first episode no matter what to see if it's your pace. And if you don't like the first episode, maybe tune out because it doesn't change much from there. It's that
No, not
the first
really.
episode is what you're getting. It's
Yeah. I will say though, I do, and I think I said this. I do kind of like the reveal at the end of the second episode. Spoilers with Norman Osborn finding out about Spider-Man being Peter Parker. That's interesting. I guess that would be the one thing that would make me want to continue with the show to see where that leads, and to see Norman Osborn become the Green Goblin. Yeah, but other than that, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think I'll check it out necessarily. Yeah. Any final thoughts with that?
No, like we always say whenever we rate this stuff, try it out yourself. We're not, gods of comic books or media,
No,
try it
we
out
are.
yourself. And
We are. No, let's not lie to ourselves. Come on. No, I'm just kidding. No, you're right, of course. Beyond Comics, hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. I am whelmed on this show. Animation CG looks not great. We are right there with you. I think that's kind of the overall review of the show, I guess, is just that. Thanks, man. Can't wait to start reading Miles. But hey, this show gets some kids into Spidey, then that's what counts. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah, I agree with that absolutely. And I think I said earlier too, if I was a younger kid, 10 or whatever, I'm sure I would love this show. So yeah, if it gets kids into Spidey, that's awesome. Would say it seems like they released them in different arcs. Like I watched first two episodes together. I think that's what they're doing with the release. Like, I think next week will be 2 episodes too. I think that's how they're doing it, I believe.
That's interesting. I kind of like that.
I know I did see some sort of release schedule out there for it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing that. I mean, I guess it awesome, cool. I wish other shows would do that too, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
I think Creature Commandos would have benefited from that, where
Yeah.
because each episode was shorter, it was like 24 minutes or whatever it was. I do think maybe Creature Commandos could have benefited from releasing 2 episodes each week instead of 1.
Yeah.
Invincible, I feel like it's a different story because I feel like Invincible, each episode's a bit longer, can be a bit more packed, can be a little more dense. So I think Invincible kind of works for it, but yeah. Cool. I think that's gonna do it for today's episode. Kind of a shorter episode. We did go for over an hour though. And yeah, I will post a thing on my YouTube in the community tab. We're gonna figure out our show for next week, I believe. So we'll figure that out. I'll make a post in my community tab tomorrow about that for you guys. Yeah, so I think that's going to do it. Please check out Illuminati's channel, link in the description below. If you are not already subscribed, please do so. And thank you, everyone, so much for watching. And we will catch you in the next All in One Nerd Show. Take care, folks.